Hello and welcome to Issues and Insight, the show that keeps you in the know about our community. I'm your host, Kendra Scott, and I appreciate you tuning in today. Have you ever driven by a large pool of water, of standing water or flood water, and you think, where does that go? Or where does it even come from? Sometimes we see a sinkhole and you think, how did that happen? And what can I do about it? Well, today we're going to answer those questions and much more as we talk to Ms. Vicki Meredith, the Hardin County Engineer. Welcome, Ms. Vicki.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, we are thrilled to have you and all this great information. Of course, I know everybody thinks sinkhole and they think Bowling Green and the Corvette plant, but there's obviously a whole lot more that goes on. So we're going to talk today about stormwater and sinkholes and flood insurance and all kinds of good stuff. So thanks for taking time out to be with us.
I always like to be here, and I love to share this information because I think you're right. It's kind of in the background of a lot of people's minds, but really you need to be thinking about it a little bit and be cautious in some instances, and there are things you can do to help.
Well, that's the good news.
Yeah.
Yes, because a lot of times you do feel helpless if you're the victim of a flood or stormwater or rushing down the road. You think, oh, I'm helpless. Or if you have a sinkhole on your property, people feel like there's nothing that can be done, but you have the answers.
Well, I don't know if we have all the answers, but we can often provide help and information and insight to what goes on. For instance, with sinkholes, there's a lot of thought out there that sinkholes are only a sinkhole if you see what they call a throat opening.
Okay.
You see a depression and there's a hole that's there. Oh, yeah, that's a sinkhole.
Right.
But you see another depressional area nearby and you think that's not a sinkhole. Well, sinkholes have a life and they go through an evolution. So even though there may not be a hole at the bottom of this depression, it is still a sinkhole if it's a depression. It's just in a different stage of development. So you do want to be aware of those kind of things. So if you're building a house or you're trying to do some development, you want to be thinking about that. And our office is always available to help you with that and to help make sure that you do site the house in a proper manner to best protect you. Hardin County is riddled with sinkholes, so you never know when one might pop up.
Exactly.
And when you do have one, we often have people call our office and say, I think I've got a sinkhole in my backyard, what can I do? So we do like to come out and work with you, and there are proper ways because, again, those sinkholes have a life, so you don't want to stop them up. You don't want to, but you do want to protect it. So we do suggest that you fill it with large size rocks so the water can still go through, but you are actually then stabilizing that hole. So, you know, there's different issues there. So, like I said, our office is always there available to help you with those activities.
That's awesome, because how do we actually identify what is a sinkhole?
Again, like I said, it's one of those, it evolves through time. There are many maps that we have.
Oh, good.
The whole center part of Hardin County is basically sinkhole ridden.
Really?
Yeah, so, and you know, you don't even hardly realize that. The city of Radcliffe, for instance, it's probably 80% of their area is all drained by sinkholes.
Really?
And so, but usually the further south you get, the more you get closer to Bowling Green, toward the Mammoth Cave area, then you get more and more sinkhole areas. And an interesting thing is that, you know, just because the water goes in here, it doesn't necessarily go downhill. Those caverns and holes that are underground can go in any direction.
Oh, that's true.
And it's really interesting sometimes to watch some of those, and they do dye testing sometimes. Sometimes it's important to know where that water goes.
Why, sure.
So they'll put dye into the hole and then monitor locations where they think it's going to come out and see where it actually does.
Oh, wow.
So, you know, it's not intuitive. It doesn't go downhill.
Right,
so.
it's not like your drain and it goes immediately somewhere.
No.
Well, what type of damage can a sinkhole do?
Ooh, that's a good question. And, you know, structurally, it can cause problems. So hopefully, your home does not deal with that, but if you do start seeing some areas that are close to your foundation, then you are starting to lose that structural issue that your house was built on. So again, you can give us a call. We'll help you through the process. There's nothing Hardin County can do to actually fix it for you.
Right, they can't be reversed.
Exactly. But, you know, structural engineers can work with you. Perhaps there's some type of injection that can be done to help those situations. Luckily, here in Hardin County, we don't have a whole lot of that.
Good.
And we also don't have a lot of what they call the collapse sinkholes, the cover collapse, like they had down at the Corvette
Museum. Or that you see in Florida sometimes. You just see, oh, my house just falls into a hole.
Yeah. A lot of times that's because the groundwater underneath has eroded and ate into that leftover shelf of rock that's there. And when that's gone, it's too weak and it just falls in. luckily we aren't quite that ridden. So
good.
yeah, it is good.
Yeah,
you don't want to. You don't want to.
Yeah, you don't want to build your house on top of a sinkhole.
No,
so.
you really don't. So
But like you said, it's really important that we protect them and know ahead of time.
Right. And we are trying to make sure that those are designated on any new subdivisions that are being built.
Oh, good. Very
So
smart.
those areas are set aside so the future builder on that lot can look at it and say, they've located a sinkhole. I do not want to put my house here. Let's do it something adjacent.
Yes.
So we are trying to really protect people in the future.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
And I like that you say fill them with rock and not fill them with tires or
Oh,
dirt
yes.
or garbage or a myriad of things I've seen around.
And you know, back when I was growing up, that was kind of the norm to some degree. That you know, you did do that because we didn't know.
Right, we didn't know. It's
and we
like,
didn't have
that's a
other
great place to
options.
put some junk.
Exactly. But you really, you know, that's not the best thing because once it goes in that hole, you don't know where it goes. And so it's not it go in and disappear. It's go in and up here someplace else.
Right,
Or
yeah.
affect something else.
That's exactly right, which leads us into our next topic, talking about clean water, because a lot of things go into our water. And as you said, I love clean water is everybody's business.
It is.
It really, really is.
It is, and I'm very passionate about that. And now some people look at me like, really? But you know, if you really
You have
think
to
about
be, hello.
you do, because we only have so much water. And the water goes through that water cycle that all kids learn about in grade school. And if you really think about that, that just means that every drop of water that we have just keeps going through the cycle. So if you're polluting it, you know, you're starting to affect what is there and what we can do about it. So luckily, we're in fairly good shape, but we want to stay there. We don't want to create a problem. So some of the things that the county does, and I'm sure as many of you have seen, we do look at construction, for instance, and make sure that as they are grading and denuding the areas, you know, you put silt fence around it, you protect it so any of that runoff stays on that site. So, you know, it's the bigger picture like that. But when we step back and look at homeowners, there's a lot of things that homeowners can do too.
Yes, let's talk a little bit about that, because we've obviously, you know, summer heat and drought, and everybody has been fertilizing their lawns and watering and all that sort of thing. What impact does fertilizer have on
That's
our
a really
water
good question, and I'm glad you brought that up because I do want to talk about it. You know, we all, like you said, we all want green lawns.
Yes, we do.
We all want to make
if
sure.
I have to paint it with the
and you
can
see
of spray paint.
Exactly, and you see the commercials out there, and they're saying, you know, put this on it. It's going to give you the greenest lawn you can. That's true to a point, and you really need to know what is going on in your lawn because fertilizer is made up of 3 different elements, and the middle one, those 3 numbers that are there, is phosphorus.
Yes.
And excess phosphorus will bind to the soil to some degree, but if you have excess, it runs off. And when you start seeing the algae blooms and things like that, that's excess phosphorus that's running off. So we really want to protect from that. An algae bloom, what's happening is you started to already affect the ecosystem of that pond or water body. The nutrients run into the water. It actually causes the plants on the bottom to grow. They grow, they die, they come to the top. As they're growing, they take in oxygen. When they die and come to the top, they shade it from having the oxygen, and you start depleting the oxygen in the water. And so it just keeps growing and growing, and you get more. And the result of that is not just that scummy looking pond, it's not just the aesthetics, but then you're starting to affect the wildlife. You're starting to affect the fish. You have fish kills and those kind of things because there's not enough oxygen in the water.
Oh dear.
So we really, you know, you really want to think about that. So as homeowners, there are things you can do. We've got a great partnership going on here in Hardin County with the Cooperative Extension Office.
Oh, good.
They offer soil tests for free.
Now that's awesome.
It is.
Absolutely free.
It is. And what they'll do, they will test your soil sample that you bring in and see if you need additional phosphorus. Really easy test. You go visit with them. They'll actually give you there's an auger, a coring type thing.
Oh, okay.
It's a
Yes.
T-shaped thing that's
Yes.
hollow. You stick it in the ground. They'll tell you like 4 to 6 inches. You twist it, you pull it up, and you do that in 10 random locations.
Okay.
You put it in a bucket, all the soil, you mix it up, put it in a bag, and take it off to them. Then
And they
from
do the
there,
rest.
they'll be able to help you and know, do you need phosphorus? The University of Kentucky has shared information that they do. They do testing of soils throughout the state, and certainly here in Hardin County. And what they found is that for homeowners, for lawn areas, I think they have done well over 3,000 tests.
Oh my gosh.
Based on that data, of those 3,000 tests, there were a third of them that had excess phosphorus.
Yikes.
To the point that it would run off.
Oh.
So 1 out of 3 lawns that were tested
Yes.
had too much.
Oh my goodness.
So what, that's a couple of, you are impacting the environment, but you're also impacting your pocketbook. You're doing things that
Exactly.
don't need to happen.
Yes.
And it's not doing anything for your lawn, and it's just running off. So
Yes, you're wasting your money. So if you think about it, all the homes in Hardin County, a third of them, that is a lot. I mean, that's just, if you go down your street,
Right.
every third house has too much.
yeah, so at least all the ones that were tested.
Yes.
So, and a free test, an easy test, there really isn't any reason not to do it.
Yes. Now, is there a way to cut back if your yard does have too much phosphorus? Is there
Yes.
something you can do? Okay.
Well, that's a good question. I don't know once it has too much in it, but you don't want to apply more at that point.
There you go.
So you can buy fertilizer that doesn't have any phosphorus.
There you
so you
go.
still get the other nutrients, and you get good root growth and everything else, but you don't have that runoff from the phosphorus.
Okay, that's good. Because I do know a lot of folks that fertilize their yard or their lawn or their gardens and put a lot of
Right.
chemicals and things in there. So really, there's got to be some other alternatives.
And that's one of the things we want to caution against, and that's what we're offering. It always aggravates me when somebody tells me not to do this and not tell me why,
Right.
or what the impacts might be, and that's really what I want to share today. And the same thing is with any other chemicals you might put on your lawn. If you spray at the wrong time of the season, then you may be spraying for no reason. So, and again, the Cooperative Extension Office can really offer a lot of just basic information that will help make you a better gardener and a better person with regard to your lawn maintenance and care options that you have.
Yeah.
And make it economical for
I
you
know.
too.
I love that most of their services are completely free. Or you
Yes.
might take a class for $5. And
Exactly.
you learn so much, whether it's how to plant cucumbers or how to maintain, how to keep insects away, whatever it may be. They really are a great resource. So that's great. You have a partnership with them.
It is, and it's interesting because I made part of this presentation to fiscal court this week, and as I was finishing, one of the magistrates looked at me and he started kind of smiling, and I'm like, Dwight Morgan, what's going on? And he said, well, he goes, you reminded me back in my ag class in high school. And I'm like, and so that's a good point.
Thank you.
I think that perhaps some of us know that. Perhaps some of us had ag classes and already know this information and had forgotten.
Oh, yeah.
So, but
we all forget about the photosynthesis. in the
exactly.
cycle.
So hopefully this brings it all back up again.
Yeah. So what can we do when we do see the algae on the ponds? Is it too late at that point?
It's pretty much too late.
Oh, dear.
But Mother Nature has a way of fixing herself. So after it goes through a cycle for a while, it will eventually die away and eventually recoup itself back to a normal state.
Okay.
But yeah, we need to help Mother Nature.
We really do. She can't do it all by herself. So,
Exactly.
are there other potential pollution issues of concern? I'm sure that there are. And what can we do about them?
Well, I think the lawn care is probably the biggest one here in our rural area.
Yes.
As you are aware, we also have other programs to make sure that your household is disposing of things properly.
Yes.
We
Nail
have-
on the head, Miss Vicki.
We have household, hazardous waste. It's amazing how much you start gathering in your garage or in that tool shed. It's old paints, it's paint thinner,
Yeah.
it's different cleaning stuff. All of that needs to be disposed of properly. So every year, annually, we have those opportunities. So you just need to stay on our website, keep listening to fiscal court, and we give you plenty of notice when those are coming up. Same thing with electronic equipment.
Oh, gosh, yes.
We also want to make sure those are disposed of properly. So we have, again, that outreach to say that you can take those old printers, those old computers,
Yes.
and dispose of them properly.
Yes, I love those days. 'Cause
Yes.
they are great.
They are.
It's wonderful to get rid of the old VCRs and
Absolutely.
and just all the old junk, the old stereo, boombox, whatever, and know that it's going. Because I love when people say, "Well, just throw it away." Well,
Right.
where is away?
Exactly.
Where does it go? So I love that you all do that, and again, at no cost.
At no cost.
At no cost
Right.
to the citizens.
Right.
So the free landfill days, all of that are just wonderful options for folks. So
They are.
Can you give us the website real quick? We'll put that on the screen so folks will know.
It's www.hcky.org. It's really easy.
It really is.
It is.
Yeah, and on there is a great wealth of information about everything.
Right.
But anything and everything folks want to know. Important dates to know, folks to contact. They can contact your office.
Absolutely.
They have questions about things, so lots of good resources.
Absolutely. And we've talked a lot about homeowners today, but we also reach out to farmers, given
Yes.
how rural our area is. And with regard to proper disposal activities, dead farm animals.
Yes.
It happens.
They can't live forever.
Exactly.
Old Daisy can't make it forever.
Exactly. And so we want to make sure that those are disposed of properly, that they're not left to decompose, along a stream or near a sinkhole where those potential contaminants could get in. So that we have a program actually here in Hardin County where there's a phone number that you can call.
Oh, okay.
We'll put that up on the screen because I don't remember that one by heart. But we have a phone number you can call, and it's they will come and pick it up within 48 hours.
Oh, that's awesome.
The farmers, most of the farmers here are aware of that, but if there are any new farmers, we want to make sure that they know.
Definitely.
And that again is another program that we offer to the farmers and the citizens of Hardin County for free.
Wow, that's great, because that could be a very huge expense.
It is, but
for
we do
farmers.
get some grant money. We get $7,500 worth of grant money. We get the Cooperative Extension also provides $7,500.
Okay.
And often Farm Bureau will contribute some money too, but the rest of it the county picks up. And it's about a $50,000 program
goodness.
on an annual basis.
Really, how many animals annually are y'all picking up?
I would say we probably pick up anywhere from 800 to 1,000. So yes, so it's anything from the cattle to horses to goats, even some llamas. We have all different
That's
kinds.
right, we do. We have all kinds of different farm animals.
Goats and pigs and all kinds of
You
stuff.
name it.
Yeah.
Old McDonald, a little bit of everything.
Right.
Now, does that apply to when we see deceased animals on the road, like large deer, or
It could.
can you pick those up as well?
Call our office. Sometimes we come pick it up. The caveat that this hauler that we use, he just wants to make sure he knows where it is.
Sure.
And that it's easy to get to. So if it is right beside the road or perhaps next to somebody's driveway and you have an address,
Yes.
then he could pick it up.
Okay, good.
But otherwise, give us a call, and we give the county a call, and maybe the road department or our solid waste department will come and pick it up if it's more remote or in
Okay.
odd areas.
Oh, that's good to know, because I'm
Yeah.
telling you, if there's a dead deer in my yard, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
I'm calling you.
Yes.
I don't know what to do.
You don't want to deal with that.
I really don't. I had a dead bunny a few summers ago, and
Yeah.
I mean, I had a panic attack. I didn't know what, and my dog had,
Yeah.
what dogs do, and I didn't know what to do and how to dispose of it, and
Yeah.
it was bad.
Yeah,
it was
it
just
is
one little
difficult.
bunny, so I can't imagine what a farmer does for a cow or a bull or
Right.
large farm animals. So
Yeah.
that's got to be taken care of.
Yeah, so that's a great program.
That really, really is. That's a
Yeah.
great program. And again, I've seen the information about that on the website. So
Yes.
folks can do that. Get that phone number. We'll put it up for you, and they can do it. So, so let's work back around and talk about the clean water and the MS4 permit. Tell us what that is. It's been issued to Hardin County.
It has.
Tell us what it is and why is it so important?
It's actually a permit that came about as a part of the Clean Water Act.
Okay.
So it comes out from EPA, it goes to the state, and then the state looks at the urbanized areas throughout the state. So we probably have 50 locations throughout Kentucky
Okay.
that are considered an MS4 area,
Okay.
and it's municipal storm sewer system.
Okay.
And essentially what they want us to do is that we have to protect the waterways because you have all this urban density and growth going on. So we look at things like the erosion and sediment control with regard to construction.
Okay.
We also look at what they call illicit discharge. Let's say that you look at a storm drain outfall and instead of having water coming out of it, it's something green. It's like, okay, where's that coming from?
Yeah.
So it's part of our job to look at it and say, let's start working our way back upstream and figure out where it's coming from. There may be a business that one of the pipes has broken and it's actually coming into a storm drain. They may be going out in the parking lot and pouring things in the storm drain and thinking it's disappearing. It's not, it's going somewhere.
It's right. It's got to go somewhere.
Luckily, again, we don't have a whole lot of that in Hardin County, but that's part of this permitting activity to make sure that we are watching and working with those businesses or activities that may be happening. If there's suds coming out, well, maybe somebody's, they're, I don't know, dumping wash water or something.
Sure, washing a lot of cars.
Exactly. So, it's those types of things because we just want to make sure that it is well managed and not polluting our activities. Like I said, this permit is huge. It's multifaceted. Another issue that we deal with under the permit is what we call stormwater management.
Okay, and that's really important.
That is important. And what that is we want to make sure that if you have higher density, you have more development, that the water that's running off of that area does not impact downstream homes or areas.
Oh, I see.
And so we look at that and we do engineering calculations that are standardized, and most often around Hardin County we install stormwater management ponds.
Oh, okay.
Water comes into the pond from the runoff from the new development, which has a lot more impervious area than it had before. It's held in that pond for a period of time, and the outlet actually constricts it to a point that it's not any greater than when it was before it was developed.
I see.
So that
Okay.
way you're not having this onslaught of water that's coming to a
Yes.
downstream property, potentially causing flooding or erosion. So we look very closely at that.
Okay.
So, and then part of this again is public outreach and public involvement. We want to make sure the public understands. We want public to partner with us. We want them to know what's going on and what to do. So if you ever see anything that's going on, whether it looks like there's a construction site that's not well maintained and it's eroding and it's coming out on the street, whether you're looking at a pipe and there's a bunch of suds and bubbles coming out of it, or any of that kind of stuff, give us a call. If we can help you, we will. If we can make sure that that's being taken care of, we will.
Yeah, don't wait. And that
Exactly.
affects all the waterways in
Absolutely.
our county. Every little stream,
Absolutely.
the Ohio River up at West Point, all of it.
Absolutely. It may not be my jurisdiction, but I'll get it to the person that it needs to go
Exactly
to.
right, yeah.
So we want to make sure that you're our eyes and ears, that residents and homeowners and people in the county are the eyes and ears, because we do have a small staff.
Yes.
And it's very difficult to
And a
get
large county.
And it's an extremely large
It's a really
county.
large county and lots of territory and lots of water to cover.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah, we want to make sure that hopefully we have a partnership with the residents, and they want to call us. We can't always fix it, but we'll always talk with you and help you through the process.
yeah, because again, I think it's something we just take for granted.
Yeah.
That, things just happen and everything is okay, and
Yeah.
that's not always the case. So,
Yeah.
and I had no idea that we had this MS4 permit. So that's really, and as you said, it comes down from,
Through the whole process
Yeah.
and down to the local level.
Yeah, local, state, federal. So.
Right, and we're here to help with that. So the city has a permit, Radcliffe has City of E-Town, Radcliffe, Vine Grove, we all have permits, so we have to maintain the same type of thing.
Gotcha. All the
for all of us.
urbanized areas.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's so good to know. Well, and of course, we're talking all about water, and you talk about sinkholes, and we're ridden with those, but we also have a lot of floodplains in our area.
Very good point.
Yes, people think, oh, it's just West Point that has flooding issues. No.
Yeah.
You can dispute that, that's for sure. Talk a little bit about all the floodplains in our area, and what's the definition of a floodplain, and how is it regulated?
Those are great questions. Essentially, almost every stream that we have in Hardin County has some degree of floodplain.
Okay.
It may be narrow, it may be wide, and all that has been mapped. It actually comes down through FEMA,
Oh,
through the
okay.
Federal Emergency Management Authority,
Yes.
and they have done mapping of all of this. And they want to regulate it because they want to help protect you to stay out of it. So they have done engineered calculations, gone through the hydrology, figured out exactly, given the statistical range that we have,
Yes.
how wide will that be? And we call, a 1% chance or a 100-year storm, creates a flood of this magnitude and width
Oh, okay.
along maybe the Nolan River
Yes.
or Rolling Fork or any of them. And so when you build, you want to stay out of that.
Yes, you do.
You don't want your house in that.
No, you don't want a houseboat.
Exactly. And so we want to work with you to make sure that you properly place your home. Certainly, if you are near or in a floodplain, then you really need flood insurance, and that can be expensive.
Very, yes.
And the federal FEMA has now changed some of their regulations, and because of all of the impacts that we've had all across the nation through hurricanes and other issues, then those resources have been very taxed. So now those flood insurance rates are going up.
Yeah, they are.
Just because of all the impacts. So even locally, we're seeing that. So we want to make sure that you are building in the most cost-effective, safe manner possible.
Good, because in some areas it's required, is it not, that you have to get flood
You
insurance?
do.
Yes.
You do. If your home, it really depends on the different lenders. If the home is in a floodplain, you definitely need it.
Okay.
If your property is in a floodplain, you still need it, but it's probably a less rate, a lower rate than
Okay.
that. So there are ways to walk through. But if you're thinking about building anywhere near a stream, definitely call our office. We'll be happy to walk
Because it
through
always
you.
sounds so great and romantic.
Right.
I want to live near water.
Exactly.
Until it floods.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or if you're buying a house, give us a call. You know up front. Do your due diligence.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
That is exactly right. So that's really, really important that folks do that.
Yeah.
And builders, of course, need to know that. I'm
Oh,
sure that they do a lot of research with your office.
They do, and they're regulated, and we make sure that we're working with them. But you do have some historical sites, some older areas, some older homes that maybe didn't have the regulations in place or didn't realize what was going on. But yeah, anything that we build now, we make sure that they are out of the floodplain.
Yes.
And that they are protected. And hopefully it is making a difference here in Hardin County. The lucky thing that we have with most of our floodplains here is that they're not densely populated. They're more in the rural areas.
True.
So they don't go through the downtowns. They don't go through those highly dense areas where you'd hit a whole lot of homes. Yes. But still, regardless, anyone that's in a floodplain, you don't want to have your house flooded.
No.
And it's, I can't imagine having to clean up afterwards.
Oh, I can't either.
So we don't want you to ever be in that
Right.
situation.
Exactly.
So if there's any way possible, we'll work with you and make sure that, that you have prevented it and your head's up and you've done your due diligence and know about that.
Yes, because any of us that have ever survived the floods, and there
Yes.
have been just a few in our lifetimes, but
Yes.
if we've survived it, you'll never forget it, and you
Yes.
think, I never want to go through this again.
Yes.
It's amazing the damage that water
It does.
can do.
It is.
Really, and you do. You're like, I'm moving to the highest ground possible. I'm moving to a mountain after this to avoid all that flooding. So it's amazing all the services, though, that the county provides. Again, your office is small but mighty,
Right.
because you offer so many services to folks, and it's just one phone call or one click away.
Absolutely.
Online. So that's great.
And we are limited in our resources, but we have a lot of knowledge. So anything that we can do to help, to share, if you have any questions, please call our office.
Yes, because that's great. You said you all do mapping and the surveying, and
Right.
you come out and check sinkholes, and you can
Right.
talk about floodplains. You have a new staff member that does GIS, so
Right.
you're all over the place.
We are. I'm really excited about having more mapping capabilities. So if you call, I can look it up on the screen and get
Yes.
a lot of information to help you.
We've come a long way.
We have.
We really have. And the county is always doing, I give you all credit, the county and our cities within Hardin County always doing a really great job of managing our stormwater
Right.
and our drainage issues and flooding, and really trying to improve and make things better and better for our citizens. So
Yeah.
thank you for being behind that and keeping us safe.
Well, we really try, and thank you. I appreciate that. So.
Yes, well, you guys are great, and I know if viewers have more questions, they can always check out the website, as
Absolutely.
you mentioned, and they can also give your office a call. Would you mind to share that number with us?
270-765-2350.
Great.
And if I'm not there, leave a message, and I'll be happy to get back with you, or get the right person to call you
There you
back
go.
who might have the best information for you.
That's the way to do it, yes. And of course, I assume you're located in the beautiful new Hardin County Government Center.
We are, and we invite people to come by and visit with us. We'd be happy to give you a nickel or maybe even a dime tour.
Oh,
We'll
well,
see.
there you go. Yeah, fancy pants.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we are pleased to be in the new building. I
Yes.
mean, we love old historic buildings, don't get me wrong. It was great being there, but having us all in one location, being able to take that step forward into better computer
Yes.
communications
Yes.
and all the electronics that's needed, this site is just wonderful.
It is
So we're
one-stop
thrilled.
shopping. And I bet as an engineer, you love it.
Oh, I do. I do.
Yes, I do. Well, we really appreciate you coming in today, Ms. Vicki, and opening our eyes and sharing this really important topics with us, because it is, like you said, clean water, everybody's business. So I'm going to go home and talk to my husband about cutting back on the lawn fertilizer.
Definitely get it tested.
That's
so
right.
You'll
I'm
know.
going to get it tested and find out, because I've had to do that because I really want to grow hydrangeas, so I have to know about my soil.
Whether it's
So-
acidic or what,
Yes.
basic, yes.
And so they are great at the extension office for that. So we encourage you all to please take care of yourselves, your lawns, our environment, because it is, as you said, it's in limited supply. It doesn't last forever. So don't take it for granted. Be responsible. Check out the website to get all the important dates and information for the throwaway days, the electronic days, the free landfill days, all
All
that
of
good
that,
stuff.
yes.
It's all there right at your fingertips. So it's too valuable to overlook. So we appreciate all that you do and all that you do to keep us and our county safe. We
Thank you.
appreciate you tuning in to this edition of Issues and Insights. We hope you'll join us again next time. We talk to another exciting and interesting guest. We appreciate your support of HCEC TV, and I'm Kendra Scott. Hope you have a great day, and we will see you next time.